Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the gun shop. Well, the Modern Warfare 3 official trailer has been officially released, obviously, and I've reviewed it to the best of my ability, so I'm going to give you my sort of take on it, my review or analysis on it. Just keep in mind that other people, regardless as to where you watch other videos or read the reviews, certain people are going to pick up on different aspects of that video. So there's likely going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to miss, and if there's other stuff that people pick up, naturally, I do the news and reviews. So when I read a lot of the reviews tomorrow, I will basically tabulate, bring it all together, and give you stuff that I haven't seen, which is likely a lot of stuff. Nonetheless, this is what I saw after I watched it, and I have to disclose the fact that I watched it in normal speed, 720, full screen or whatever, and I watched it probably at minimum 5 times, normal speed, just watching it through. And then I went through it several other times, probably 3 to 4, not as many, but I went through it basically pausing it on almost every major scene, taking a look at what we're looking at, like the weapons, tanks, aircraft, the environments, what we're looking at there. So I did try and go through it very, very thoroughly before I did this video, which is also why it's taken me a while to get this video out. Nonetheless, this is what I saw in it. Number one, I'm glad to see the fact that the MP5, and I mentioned this before, but I like to see that they've gone back to not only what Call of Duty 4 was in terms of that MP5, because I'm not a huge fan of the MP5K. Personally, I think the weapon sucks. I guess because, the crowds or the public thought that too many people use the MP5, so all of a sudden they modified it, the MP5K, and quite frankly, I know a lot of people can use it. Hell, my own business partner or whatever, Spiderbite, used it all the time, and I don't even think he used any other weapon. In Modern Warfare 2, I used the Uzi Silence. That was the weapon that I chose for the SMG. Nonetheless, I like the fact that they've gone back to the MP5, and as a matter of fact, what it looks like, and I'm going to reference this a lot too, actually, in this, because it's an important part of it, but the leaked, information that Kotaku had, which was more or less verified by Activision, saying yes, but not all of it's true, although we don't know what aspects aren't true, but anyway, nonetheless, they apparently have, and some of the images when I look there, I think they're showing the new version, which looks to be like a modified version of the Call of Duty 4 weapon, not the MP5K, which is like hugely modified, but sort of just added on to the old style MP5, and I think that's going to be awesome. The other thing in the video that you may have noticed, and I think it was either in France or England, if you watch the trailer and it goes to a cutscene where 2 soldiers are in a dark room and there's fire and they're shooting across to a window where there's another guy. If you look at the one soldier who's right at the window, he's holding a G36. So at least at first I thought it was a FAMAS. I'm like, oh, they're bringing the FAMAS back. Not a big concern and not really shocking since the FAMAS, number one was in Modern Warfare 2 and it was also in Black Ops. Now it should be noted too that if they do bring the FAMAS back, which, it's not going to be shocking if they do, but if they bring it back, it'll likely be 3-round burst fire like it was in Modern Warfare 2. After all, why would they switch it to Black Ops, which actually predated Modern Warfare? If they're going to bring it back, they need to stay true to the series. And if this is, a true sequel, then the FAMAS should act the same way. But again, we're dealing with a video game, so maybe they found that people like the FAMAS more. But again, the FAMAS, if you're looking at it from Black Ops and they're listening to the community, they may think, oh, well, it was overused, everyone's using the FAMAS. The statistics that they showed was AK-74U and the FAMAS in Black Ops. So obviously they may want to stay away from that. I don't think that was necessarily the case in Modern Warfare 2. So if they bring it back, I estimate, or I guess rather, that it's going to be the 3-round burst fire. But that the individual weapon you see in the window there, and I looked at a lot of different imagery, is I can almost guarantee you was the G36. Now some of you may have been, I know actually personally one of my friends actually was a huge fan of the G36. I didn't really like it. It was one of the most balanced weapons in Call of Duty 4. It did not make its return, I believe, in Modern Warfare 2. But it looks like they're bringing that G36 back. And in Call of Duty 4, it was, if you look at it from a statistic standpoint, when the damage rating and all that stuff, it looked like the G36 was the most balanced. And it wasn't bad at all. The accuracy was decent, the damage was decent, but usually the favorites in Call of Duty 4 was the MP5, the AK-47 Silence, I believe, for the most part, and of course the M16 with Red Dot. Those were like the huge weapons. And then of course, you may have had your favorite, but just statistically, that's where most people played with. But there were followers of the G36, so it's nice to see something coming back that way. Now here's something that we heard rumors about, and based on the leaked information of Kotaku, when they mentioned that they were bringing vehicles back, if you look at the leaked information, they show an APC, a twin Huey, right? But there are no weapons in it. There's no, there was no mounted machine guns on it, indicating that perhaps they're bringing, vehicles back, but it's strictly for personnel carrier. Now the maps are supposed to be bigger. There's supposed to be, more environmental damage, you know what I mean, where you can actually blow up buildings and stuff, which kind of would make sense if they're going to want to sort of capsize or sort of stop the loss, stop the bleeding going over to Battlefield 3, because a lot of those features are actually very attractive to gamers. They look at Battlefield, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 2, and the upcoming, what we know about Battlefield 3 is that there's a lot of destructibility, and I think they're going to bring that in. If you look at the trailer, I know it's just a trailer, there's a lot of focus on buildings getting blown up, a lot of particles flying everywhere, debris going everywhere, simulating that there's a lot of environmental destruction there. And again, I know it's just, these are just things I'm picking up. This is just a feeling I have. Now here's another feeling that I have. I think, and I'm just putting this out there, I think that we are going to see tanks. Tanks in multiplayer. And this is why. We see tanks in there. Now I know in World of, World at War? Yes, I almost forgot that. I was going to say World of Warcraft. When the orcs came and everything. World at War from Treyarch, we saw tanks in there. I didn't personally have a big problem with them, but a lot of you guys didn't like them. They didn't think it was equally balanced, and they were very hard to destroy. If you were in a tank, people could throw on a satchel charge and try and blow it up that way. But they were very difficult. But here's the thing. I think that they are going to bring tanks back, and here's why. The A-10, the Thunderbolt, the Tank Buster, the Warthog, whatever you want to call it. I like calling it the Tank Buster, but the A-10 Tank Buster, when you see that jet in there, it's a U.S. aircraft. I don't know where it's actually made in real life. Well, whatever. Normally it's outsourced. Maybe it's made in the U.S. Who knows? Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. But they did show a lot of tanks in this. They showed a lot of tanks moving in here, and I know a lot of you are like, oh, the balancing. But if they introduce the A-10 tank, or the Warthog rather, the Tank Buster, I think that's the counterpoint. And that's why I think that there's going to be tanks in this. Yes, they're showing tanks, but when they showed the A-10 Thunderbolt or whatever, Warthog, I know, whatever you want to call it, is specifically designed to destroy tanks and armored vehicles. That's their purpose. That's their job. Underneath the armor, underneath an A-10 Tank Buster is almost like sitting in a giant iron bathtub. It's meant to protect people. It's meant to be low flying. It's meant to get in there and get right where those tanks are. Not throwing bombs all over the place and getting buildings. They're meant to go low flying. They have a twin engine in the back, well, as you can see from the video. And their job is to destroy tanks and armored carriers. So I'm thinking that there is going to be tanks. I'm thinking that maybe one of the kill streaks or something along those lines, that one of the kill streaks is going to be an A-10 Tank Buster. And I think it's going to be effective that when you pull up the map, you're going to know where the tanks are. As long as someone's somewhat there, kind of like in World at War. If you played that game, when you brought up your map, you could see the tanks. They were clear as days. They were lit up. So I think if they're going to balance it, this may actually be a good point, because in World at War, there was really no balance to the tanks. There was a tank, and if you got close enough to throw some C4 on, good luck with that, or your bazooka or rocket, but they were friggin' tough as hell. And I could own people in that. But to bring in an A-10 Tank Buster, I think that's the counterpoint. So I think, don't be surprised if you see tanks in there, but with that counterpoint on there with kill streaks and stuff like that. Obviously, I think, the kill streaks here are not going to be back. I personally wanted to see it go back to 357. Back in Call of Duty 4 days, it was simpler. People didn't focus too much on kill streaks. They focused more on gunplay. They focused more on getting in there and doing their job rather than camping. So, good and bad, yes, I don't know. And the AC-130 scene is there again, so I think, again, we're going to see probably an AC-130 as a kill streak in there, which really wasn't that big of a problem. I don't know if we're going to see the nuke, but here's a good indicator. If they do the kill streaks, put it this way, I think it'll be a happy medium. If they take anything from Black Ops, take the non-stackable kill streaks. Throw the nuke in there. I don't care. Nukes didn't even bother me. Hardly anyone ever got them unless, well, some of them are cheating. Not saying all of them cheating. You got nuke boosters, but there's a way to prevent that. The tack insertion, not allowing it in free-for-alls. not allowing stackable. A simple way to prevent people from getting, 6 million nukes and chopper gunner all over the place is to stop it from being stackable. Make it so that you actually have to earn them. Get out there and get the kills. Then we wouldn't care. I wouldn't care about it. So you get the nuke or whatever it is, as long as it's non-stackable, it shouldn't be a problem. So anyway, I like the fact what I've seen. So far what I've seen in that video is meeting my expectations. We got the nice M4, we got the old style MP5, we got probable tanks with A10 tank buster. This is just, I'm predicting this. I'm just putting it out there and predicting it. And more destructibility. I know it was already rumored, so it's not like I'm predicting the destructibility, but just from the video, if you see the level and what they're trying to emphasize with particle debris and everything like that. And then the last thing I want to talk about here is another thing I keep reading. And it seems there's more and more hypocrites out there. Because when I put a video out and I say, oh, well, the graphics aren't good, suddenly you guys are like ravenous wolves jumping at my throat going, graphics doesn't mean anything, man, as long as it's fun, it's great, and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden this video comes out and people are whining and moaning about, oh, well, the graphics look outdated, the engine looks outdated. You know what, I'll tell you right now, the engine, graphics aside, is absolutely fine. It is more than fine. The Infinity Ward engine from Call of Duty 4, including Modern Warfare 2, absolutely meets all of my expectations. I don't even care if they update it or anything like that. In terms of the graphics, stop being so hypocritical. Stop being so hypocrites. Especially when I put videos out, I say graphics, oh, look at the graphics. You're like, that don't matter. That don't matter. It's the gameplay. Well, you know what? As long as the gameplay, the engine is like, and the movement and the feel of it is just like Modern Warfare 2, who cares? And if the added features, if they fix the problems that were in Modern Warfare 2, you still got a hit. You still got a really good game going forward. And I think what we've seen so far, and of course it's all predictions, but coinciding with the leaks from Kotaku, I think we could have a very good game. And I'm looking forward to the holiday season. We got Battlefield 3, which is going to raise the bar, I think, in terms... Oh, I said I wasn't going to bring it up again, but I lied. Anyway, you got Battlefield 3 that's going to raise the bar and allow for a more in-depth experience. You know what I mean? Something really immersive. And then you've got Call of Duty bringing a solid addition to it. And I'm sorry if you're a big fan of Black Ops, but I am looking forward like a breath of fresh air to see Modern Warfare 3. Keep the engine as Modern Warfare 2, don't really care. Bring in these new features. Bring the old MP5 back. Awesome. That's just friggin' awesome. As far as I'm concerned, give me the MP5, some new maps. I'm happier than a pig in shit. Anyway, ooh, I swore. I think that's the analysis there. So I think we're going to see some interesting stuff. And again, I'm going to plug this again. I'm looking forward to survival mode. I know some of you zombie people you're like horrible. You're worse than fanboys. The same thing. You should want that survival mode. You should want Modern Warfare 3 to be better than the zombies. That's what it is about a gamer. When a new game comes out, you don't go, oh, that game's going to be crap. If you are a true fan of that franchise, you want that next game to be better. You should want it to be better. Why would you want it to be mediocre? Oh, it's garbage. And then you got to wait like, what, 3-4 years for another half decent. Well, in Call of Duty, you got to wait 2 years. But you should want it to. Even if you don't think that it's going to be as good as zombies, you should want it to succeed. You should say, hopefully it is good. I don't know if they're going to beat it, but hopefully it kicks ass. At least that's the way I look at it. But I try and stay optimistic. Anyway, you can see I'm getting all excited. I'm getting ready. Leave your comments, rate the video, and remember, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Peace. Thousands of movies and TV shows stream directly from your PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, or PC computer. Click on the link in the description of the video for your free 1-month trial membership, courtesy of Next Gen Tactics.